Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm finally getting around to Super Bowl VII. If you hear stuff in the background, my dog's chewing on a bone. It was the only way I could get him to let me do this. So, Super Bowl VII was the Miami Dolphins versus the Washington Redskins. And it was played in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. And it was sunny and 84 degrees. Which, if I remember right, is the warmest Super Bowl to, at least until recent history, for sure. So some of the concern, I think there were one or two players out there who ended up with cramps and heat stroke or concussion. They didn't know which. But they were having some issues out there. But the Dolphins won 14-7 to cap off the only perfect season in NFL history. So Jake Scott, the Dolphins safety, was named MVP after the game. He had 2 interceptions, one of which was a crazy one-handed diving grab, and something like 65 return yards. He also returned punts in that game, in which he lost the ball on one of them. I don't know if it was his fault or if his protectors didn't give him a heads up that he was about to get clobbered. But this guy was definitely a warrior. He played with a separated shoulder. So the year before he had broken both wrists, and this year he was playing with separated shoulder. And he was still in the game the whole time. So the card I have for him is the 1973 Topps, and it's a PSA 7. You gotta be careful to try and show you guys here because I cannot figure out the lighting right now. I don't have a good place to do this for the lighting, so there's either too much glare or not enough light. So I'm kind of zoom in a little bit. You can see the back of the card. Or not. Oh, there we go. So it was an interesting game with some crazy plays in it. The Dolphins probably should have walked away with that game, but they had one pass, I think it was like a 55-yard touchdown, called back on a holding or an illegal motion. I think it was an illegal motion. But it was a play-action pass, and the wide receiver was so wide open it wasn't even funny. It was just a walk-in touchdown, and so it got called back. That would have put them up 21-0. And their defense played really well all game. Their offense moved the ball pretty well. I think there was another, Greasy threw another interception in the end zone that would have put them up 20 again. It would have been 21-0. But they just couldn't quite finish them off. And then, just as time was ending, one of the craziest plays that I have ever seen happened. The Dolphins lined up for a field goal. I forget how long it was. It wasn't too long. And the field goal kicker ended up, oh, now I'm going to forget exactly what happened. Somehow the ball popped up into him, and then he tried to throw it away, but he flubbed it, and it went right to a Redskin who took off and went all the way to the end zone. So with, I think it was around a minute left, they were only down by 7, but they didn't have any timeouts, and they couldn't get the ball back. But it was a pretty crazy play. There was another crazy play earlier in the game. Again, it was the Dolphins. The center went to snap the ball. I think it was just a regular offensive play. And he completely whiffed on grabbing the ball. So his hands went back and the ball went nowhere. They didn't show a close-up replay, so I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I'd never seen that happen before. It was crazy. So there were some bloopers in there. It was an entertaining game to watch. And one thing I wanted to look up that I didn't. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I was going to look it up before I started, and I forgot. Okay, I can't find it right away, but I'll have to look. Maybe I can add it into the description. But the last name of the Redskins quarterback was Kilmer. I think it was Brian Kilmer. And I was wondering if that was by chance the actor Val Kilmer's dad. It was just a thought that popped into my mind. So I'll have to get that up and put it in the description. So I'm kind of kicking myself about this card, because don't get me wrong, it's a nice card, it's a good grade. But at one point I had a chance to get an in-person certified auto PSA for like $45, I think. But I didn't have the money, so I didn't buy it. And it was still sitting there, and it was still sitting there, and for like 3 months it still sat there. And then I finally had a month where I thought I could pull it off, and when I went to look, it was gone. So I waited a couple more months, and I couldn't find another autograph of his for the 1973 Topps card. So I went ahead and got a nice 7 out of it. So I'll keep my eyes open for an in-person auto of his, but I'm happy with this card. The centering actually isn't that bad on this card. It's a little off-centered, it looks like, maybe a little wear on the corners, but it's a pretty nice card overall. But yeah, so I wasn't able to get the autograph card, but I got a nice replacement for it. It was a fun game to watch. I think Jake Scott definitely deserved the MVP award based just on his grit alone in 2 consecutive Super Bowls. That's an Iron Man right there. That's ridiculous. He's the kind of guy who, they were telling the story from the last Super Bowl where they lost. I think it was to the Cowboys. He went into the game with a broken wrist, broke his other wrist during the game, and continued to play. A week later, he was out skiing. So this guy had a crazy high pain tolerance and special endurance, special pain tolerance. So I think he definitely deserved it. All right, guys, I'll keep it short on this one as there's not as much to tell for it. And I thank you for watching. And we'll have to see when Super Bowl 8 comes out. I'm not sure when I'll get to that one. But in the meantime, I will catch you later, and happy collecting.